Good evening, everyone. We're here today from Innovations in Creative Arts and Martial Arts, and today we're lucky. We have two really great role models, two of my favorite people, Sensei Hector Cruz, who also goes by Sensei Hector Rhubarb, and a renowned artist, Mr. Eddie Abrams.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both for coming. So today we're going
Thank
to
you.
do something a little different. Instead of doing the live online show for children, I would like to chat about minority males. Okay, I happen to know both of you. I know your character, I know your work ethic, your dedication, and your creativity. And as a teacher, I look at the young minority males and I wonder what's going to happen to them when they grow up. Are they going to be able to turn out like the two of you? You know, either one would be absolutely superb. So what I think parents and teachers and administrators, some of the things we need to talk about is understanding by design, and what that means in education is we work backwards. This is the outcome that we're looking for, minority males like the two of you. So how do we get there? So thank you guys for, being willing to come on camera and talk. So I'm going to start with eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm going to start with Eddie. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up?
Flushing, Queens. Born in Harlem Hospital. Lived in Harlem till my mother died at when I was 6 years old. I was raised by foster parents, and I left home when I was about 17 years old. I got my own room in a rooming house, and I had a little job where I was parking cars, and a moving company across the street asked me did I want to work, and I started working when I was about I guess I was about maybe 18. Moving furniture.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked there until he fired me when I joined the union. And then I went to get another union job, and I stayed on that job for 23 years. And then that place closed down, and I went to work for the post office, driving the truck for the post office for 18 years. And I got 2 pensions, and I'm doing pretty good with my lifestyle according to the way I had no idea that I would ever become what I am today.
I know, it's amazing. So you lost your parents, you were, orphaned, and somehow or another, you found your way all by yourself, and look how you turned out. And how long have you been married again?
50 years.
That's 50. That,
Long time.
I know, that is a long time. So how did you get into art?
Well, with all the stress and tension that I was going through, I recognized that I needed help. And I have a lot of street knowledge, and I know that you have to know what you're doing if you're going to be on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew that I had a problem. I'm an alcoholic, and I was drinking and working, and it took a toll on me. And I went to get help.
Mm-hmm.
I needed help with a therapist. So I would talk to them, and as I'm walking around in the facility, I walked into an art studio, and the art teacher told me that I could paint. Never painted before. And she said, you could paint, anybody can paint.
Wow.
And I really believed that. Everybody can paint. So that's what I did. And so I'm painting now for about 11 years.
Awesome.
And I'm selling my paintings, and
Yeah, and you have an exhibition.
yeah,
in
exhibition
Queens.
in Queens, and I could put all of my feelings on canvas, and I feel so grateful, and I would love to see people share their own feelings, with things like this, that I experienced.
Let me ask you a question. As a minority male, because, in society, men are supposed to be strong and they don't cry and they don't have the feelings and all of that stuff. So you are a strong man. So would you tell other young men out there that being into art is okay, and to actually acknowledge that you have feelings, to acknowledge when you need help, and to take that next step? What advice would you give?
Well, I would say that you have to do it, and know that's your
Passion.
expertise, and I've just been painting for about oil painting for 11 years, and I sold a few of my paintings, and now I'm considered an artist.
There you go. That's what it is. But that's an awesome story, and thank you for sharing such personal information, because that's very inspirational. I think a lot of kids out here, don't know that there are other opportunities with or without college. College is great. I most certainly believe in college, but it doesn't mean that everybody has to go that route.
Right.
Evidently, you had a strong work ethic because you were able to get a job and keep a job.
Yes.
So that's important. And then you have the hobby. So I'm assuming that the hobby keeps you off of the streets and out of trouble.
I think the art now is that I can put my feelings on canvas. That a lot of my paintings have some kind of my feeling in it. Where I could talk about it, why I painted that. And I remember, it makes me remember that certain feeling that I've had that made me do that.
Now let me ask you a question, because as an artist, I know that you do a lot of exhibitions and you're out and about and you belong to several groups. Do you see a lot of young black males or a lot of young Latino males painting these days?
I would like to see
more,
I would like
right?
to see him more of them painting.
Me too.
I would
really
love to see, because I think that there's something to be shared and something to talk about. Like if somebody asks me about why did you paint that, I can go into a whole story and tell them why I did that. And I think that's what people would like to do. If a young person was asked why did you paint that, then they would tell you why they painted it.
Yeah. You know what? Let's take this, because this is good stuff. And I'm like, I am not going to remember the questions that I asked. That was good. We need that on tape. So Ryan's going to be quiet, and we're going to start, because we'll never get this exact conversation back, because I have to remember how I started out.
I recorded the last 2 minutes.
Your patience, but then again,
I'm sorry.
no. Black belts are very disciplined and they know how to wait. So, tell us a little bit about you. What do you attribute your success to? Because none of us have Eddie's wife, so the rest of us are on our own. So, what would you attribute your success to?
Well, I could say a lot of my success comes from just parents who were very stern, obviously loving, but just very diligent in terms of just wanting more for me, more than what they had when they grew up, coming to this country, wanting me to further my education, just being more than what opportunities they had available. I had other role models such as karate instructors who trained me. I mean, I started out in karate because I happened to be at the right place at the wrong time. Case of mistaken identity. Some guy mistook me for some person who spoke wrongly or treated his friend wrongly, and well, a couple of guys on top of me, and yeah. Sometime later, my father decided that it was time for me to learn some self-defense. So it turned out very good, because I learned a lot, not to just how to defend myself, but just how to resolve conflicts. I mean, you can learn that in school, obviously, teachers, parents, of course. You can also learn how to defend yourself, but you have to learn why you're defending yourself, or why you're protecting yourself, or protecting other people. Basically, what I attribute a lot of my success is just learning how to diffuse situations, or just learning how to avoid conflict, trying to resolve it other than just throwing my hands up in the air, because more times than often it's everywhere. School, or just happen to be walking home from school and being mistaken for someone else. So sometimes it's just unavoidable, and you do have to learn how to protect yourself, but you have to learn how to resolve certain conflicts, because sometimes being quick with your hands and feet isn't going to matter if someone is quick with a gun.
All right.
Good point. Okay, the one thing that I noticed that the two of you didn't talk about, and maybe it's because you don't see it in yourself, so me as the outsider, it's much easier for me to identify. Both of you are extremely polite, considerate.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Only because you're paying me. No, but seriously, the work ethic is there, the dedication, the compassion. You care about other people. You know, all of us have those other things that we fight for, and I see all of that in you, and I just want to say, as a minority woman, you know, I appreciate both of you. I think that you two are amazing role models, and I think that more young men and young women need to see this is what it looks like, you know, when you grow up. This is what it looks like, and I'm gonna cry. You too, of course.
No, don't cry.
No, but I remember, you know, my father, if he was still alive, would be in his 80s. He was born in 1931, and he was extremely talented. He was a black and white, you know, illustrator. And I remember him telling me there were no jobs. There were no jobs for blacks other than painting signs for stores, if you could get it. And I remember he too was an alcoholic, and that stemmed from being that creative and not having any place to go with it. There were no jobs, so he got a great job, you know, as a New York City police officer. Thank God, because he took care of, you know, our family. My mother also, you know, had a city job, but still, I could see it in his eyes. It was that I wish that I had been able to do that other thing. However, he too, very polite, very well mannered. He would cry at movies too. Yeah, Sounder, the movie Sounder. Yeah,
Yes,
the tears.
yes,
Yeah. But looking now, I don't see those same type of role models for the kids today. As a teacher, I see fathers coming in with their hat backwards, and I'm like, that's your dad? Okay.
Could I stop you for a minute?
Sure can.
Now you have me. I'm an alcoholic.
No, you used to be, or you
From
still?
well, you never.
Okay.
You're always an alcoholic.
Okay.
You know, but what it is, I was self-medicating.
Yes.
You know,
That's what
I'm saying.
these kids are doing now.
I'm saying what your father was he was a drinker.
Yeah.
You know, he's a drinker.
Professional drinker.
Professional drinker. Yep. But that was my medicine.
Exactly. But it was born out of frustration because.
But I was a functioning alcoholic.
So was he.
I
He had
go
a
to
job.
work all the time.
He did.
I went to work every
He
day.
did.
But I would drink
Every day.
every day.
Yeah.
So
But-
but people have to realize that.
Right.
You know, if you can't function doing your work, you know,
Then that's
then
a real
you got a problem. You got a
You
problem.
sure do, but if you can drink and still go to work, you sort of have a problem. No, I'm only kidding. But I think,
That's impressive.
you know, it really is. It truly, alcoholics are amazing when they're functional. But,
But I seen it with drugs too. I worked with a guy.
yeah.
I walked in the bathroom and there he was shooting up.
Mhm.
And he says that this is the only way I could work.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of that goes on. But now, you know, I look at, this is now 2015, you know, for prosperity's sake, we have that out there. And I do understand that with prior generations, there were a lot of societal issues and racism and all of that kind of put, well, I'm a woman, right? That glass
Especially
ceiling.
for a black person.
Well, minority, yeah, that would
All
be
right,
us.
all right,
Okay,
all
all
right.
right. Even Hector's a minority too.
I-
Okay.
I am.
But when I look at, we're now in 2015, so are those same barriers and hindrances and glass ceiling and glass walls still there? Yes, they are.
Yeah.
However, in a lot of ways, they are.
Yes.
But these kids, this generation coming up now, come on, they have so many other opportunities that we didn't have. However, I don't think that they know all of the career, job, hobby possibilities there are, because they're still standing on the street. And I'm trying to figure out, how do we get them off of the street? How do we bring back manners? How do we make sure that our youth today continues to have, strong work ethic. And that something you had said earlier when we were talking.
Well,
You said about a plan. You were saying something about a plan.
no, I don't remember that, but I just, like you said,
Yes.
how could you bring back the ethics of
Yes.
good manners? I was, when I was with my foster grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
that if we were walking down the street together, and she seen a friend of hers, and I didn't say hello, she would give me a little bump of the
Pop
head.
upside the head.
Say hello, and things like that. You were learning the manners,
You did, but that comes from the parents. But now
Yeah, but the parents have to teach their kid
They
good manners
do.
too. You could think so?
I know. Didn't I just say I agree?
Yeah,
I
you did.
agree.
She did.
I agree with you.
Yes, yeah.
What I was about to say
They have to learn
is
that at home.
you do. You also, it also gets reiterated and repeated and reinforced in schools. What I was gonna say is, there's laws now against popping your kid.
No, it's just something that
No, I know, but
touch
it's
it,
amazing.
yeah.
But when you look at it, years ago, your teacher could kind of pop you, your
Yeah.
parent could pop you.
Shake you on the
Nowadays, all of that is a no-no, and
Yeah.
I do wonder if any of that has a play on some of the behavior, that we see out in the street and in the schools. I know, it's just food for thought, it really is, but we're gonna get back around to, I just wanted to thank both of you, and I hope that we can do more talking about minorities, because we need the role models, and I just want to thank the two of you for being you two of my favorite guys in the whole world.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's
Well,
been a
thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you.
So this is Adrienne Ruth Whaley and Hector Cruz and Eddie Abrams from Innovations in Creative Arts and Martial Arts Inc.